Hello, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be trying out the 2-ingredient recipe for cottage cheese flatbread. The reason I want to make cottage cheese flatbread is because I have self-raising flour, which I keep in the freezer, and cottage cheese, and a craving for flatbread. But also I know that shop-bought flatbread always has a lot of chemicals inside of it, so I want to avoid those. I have attempted to make bread in the past and I know that it is very difficult. At least I found it very difficult. So hopefully this recipe is going to be much easier. For this recipe I am going to use a mixing bowl, a cup measurement. It's not self-raising, so I'll put a teaspoon of baking powder in. So now it's a 3-ingredient recipe. Cottage cheese and a sieve. The recipe starts with 3/4 of a cup of cottage cheese. Whipped cottage cheese. Don't know what that is, but I'm just gonna aerate this cottage cheese. I'm not measuring it because it is a 250 gram tub and I've used 75 grams, so should be the right amount. And whip it. I feel like this is well whipped and aerated. It's really light and sort of fluffy. The next step is 1 cup of flour and my sieve. Then I'm going to put in 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and continue to sieve. The next step is to mix the dough, and then it says knead the dough with your hands. I would like to avoid doing that, but I don't think I'll be able to. I'm going to remove this bracelet. This feels so nice. The dough has been kneaded and I am now going to be lightly dusting the surface with flour, like it says. I'm using my wet hand and my dry hand. Ta-da! The dough. It says cut into 4 parts. I also don't actually have a rolling pin, so I'm just going to press these out with my hands. Okay, 4 roundish balls. Preheating the frying pan on the stove, and I'm going to make this with a little bit of olive oil. The pan is nice and warm, so I'm spraying in a little bit of olive oil and my first flatbread. I'm just gonna put some flour on my hands. A little bit of flour. They're not gonna be as big as the ones in the recipe, but I'm feeling pretty confident. I wonder if they're gonna shrink or rise. Oh, it is sticking. Ooh, I felt it rising. Clean my hands, spatula. I think it's time to turn it. Oh no, it's really sticking. having two thoughts at the moment. The first is user error. I really did need to flatten them more. And the second is, before I even taste it, I'm sure that salt is needed. Trial and error. I can tell it's not cooked yet, but I think it's getting close to being cooked. Here's a crispy bit. That's nice. The last thing I want is to burn them. They're not pretty, however, I think they're great. It is so good and so crispy. I think these are good. 2 down. Let's not let them get sweaty. Spritzing, and I'm turning the heat down again because look how it's smoking, and I always burn my olive oil. This time I spread the flour on the dough. Well, it's not sticking to the pan at all this time round. Ew, it's pretty. Not quite flatbread. It's looking great. Turning the heat up a little. So this is what it looks like. It's as thick as it is. Taste. Mmm. I like it. I like it a lot. While these flatbreads are cooking, I have tasted this one, and for breakfast I have scrambled, well, I've prepared 3 eggs to be scrambled and a quarter of an avo. I'll show you the finished breakfast in a bit. Just get these cooking finished. They're looking great. Homemade cottage cheese flatbreads. I've already tasted this one. They are really nice. Breakfast this morning, 3 scrambled eggs with tomato sauce, a quarter of an avocado mashed up with balsamic vinegar, salt and pepper, and then 2 of my homemade cottage cheese flatbreads.